Welcome to the One Community Local Leaders podcast, and I'm Matt Scarborough, cyclist and lawyer from Bicycle Accident Law.
And I'm Leo Brasino, special education teacher and swim coach.
In our podcast, we'll be featuring leaders throughout the area, and we want to know what makes them tick. So do us a favor, subscribe, listen, share, and we're going to grow this thing together.
Hey, good morning, everybody. We're here at BIKESPORT in Oldsmar with my good friends Katie and Dave. We are doing the One Community Local Heroes podcast. Guys, thank you for being here with me.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here.
So I know Dave for a long time, and then I met Katie back in 2015, 14, when she was kicking ass in the triathlons locally. And then she was a customer and part of a local team, and it was impressive because I always see her in races and all that, and I knew back then she was a swimmer. And then knowing her background, I know you're a swimmer at Florida State?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And then Dave, I know Dave from cycling, super strong cyclist, and actually every time it's kind of like we didn't need to talk. I remember one time I was riding my Jeep, and then I saw the group, and I go, I bet Dave is in the front somewhere. And then I go there, and you were on Fort Harrison, on Edgewater, one of those. And then we, without even talking, he knew what to do, and then he got behind my Jeep. And I have a video of that, and he was going probably like 35 miles an hour behind my Jeep. And not like my Jeep was helping a lot, but of course, it's a little
Little motor pace.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, I love that because it's kind of like the trust. Like he knew that I knew what I was doing. I wasn't gonna stop, or so he trusted me. And then at some point I pulled, like when you're riding in
Definitely something you shouldn't do.
You shouldn't do it. Kids, don't do that.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I was not gonna get run over. So.
Right, exactly. And it was a quiet morning too, so. That we don't do that when it's busy.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and I have that in video actually on Facebook. But anyway, so the reason I wanted to talk to you guys because to me, you represent what the community means. You're a couple, you're a young couple, you're a powerful couple, like I like to call, and you guys decided to open a bike shop, and that's something that I would like for you to tell me the story. I know the story, but I want you guys to share the story.
Sure. Well, the story starts with me, obviously, because I am the one that pursued it. But so, beginning of my life, whatever, it ended up, I got into cycling. And when I got into cycling, I got a job at a bike shop. And probably the most fun I've ever had working, Then things changed. My daughter was younger. Working retail hours sometimes is not good for kids. You miss a lot of time. So I left, went on to something else, and then my daughter got older. I had met Katie. We had things going. Everything was fine. But in my job life, I was not like 100% happy. I mean, I had a job. It was a good job. It paid the bills and made money, and so I wanted to get back into something that, was fun. So I liked going to work and looked around at all the different bike shops, went to the bike shop that I'd worked at previously, and nothing really was there at the time. Nothing was there at the time at what I needed. I couldn't start over, being, where I was, I couldn't start over at a, hourly base pay. So anyways, moving along, I went on a Katie had qualified for Nice, France, and we went to Georgia to ride in some mountains. A friend of mine, Jim Marshall, was there, and he's like, "Oh, have you ever talked to BIKESPORT about a job?" And I said, "No." I said, "I've never really been there. I've been there once, but never really pursued it." So we got back from that trip, called Steven up on the phone, said, "Hey, would you be interested in talking about a job?" He said, "Sure." We met, talked for a good couple hours, and then he's like, "Well, I really don't have a job for you." And I said, "Okay, so why are we here?" And he basically was like, "Well, I have an offer for you if you're interested." And I said, "What's that?" And he's like, "If you want to buy the shop." And I said, well, okay, but I had no clue what that involved. So he's like, okay, go home, talk to Katie about it. If you guys really want to do it, he's like, then we'll meet again. I have everything ready to show you, proposal, blah, blah, blah. And went home, asked her, and she's like, do it. So we did it. And Steven's moved on. He's so great. Talk to him every once in a while. Not as much anymore because he's super busy and doesn't cycle as much. But he was somebody that I had seen at races before because he raced for Florida Velo and I raced for Florida Velo at the time. But yeah, and then we got the shop, and 3 weeks later, COVID shutdown hit. So then I was like, panic. What are we gonna do? And luckily for the bike industry, it was a good thing. But it was crazy because I had a plan on how I wanted to transition into being an owner of a bike shop, leaving my current job, coming here, transitioning slowly. Katie was gonna come in and work, learn the business, and all that went out the window because we just got super busy. So I quit my job, came here full time, and just figured it out as I go. And I'm still figuring it out. So it's
Right. It's like you got on the train and you had to keep going and keep on going, and it was very successful. I mean, BIKESPORT was I started hearing about it because I knew about it before, but when you guys took over, it was like everywhere, and it was a legit comments. Like people were saying great things about it, and I when people actually say, yeah, I mean, those guys know what they're doing. Literally, they know what they're doing because your experience as a cyclist, and you used to ride motorcycles back in the day, and not just ride motorcycles. You were a state champion or some championship.
Yeah. I mean, I got a couple lap records and state championships and overall championships in the series, but it was a Southeast base.
Right. Well, but still, it's not like your normal regular individual who just, I'm gonna do this. No, you guys took the bull from the horn and just started going. And so, how was that for you, Katie? That change, that how everything happened, how.
To be honest, I didn't have time to think about it. We just, instead of diving in, like you should, feet first, we dove in head first. But I mean, we're very blessed. It could have gone either way. I mean, there's people in other industries that weren't so lucky, so we were very thankful, and we had a good team around us. We had so many people that came in and helped us. I mean, we were building bikes until 2 or 3 in the morning, coming back in at 7 in the morning and doing it all over again. I mean, there was lines out the door. There was times when there were so many people in here, but I mean, every single moment was a blessing, and we just took it. And now, we look back and we can't believe it, right? I mean, it was amazing, and it's put us in a better position, and it's grown our business, which is amazing. We couldn't have asked for anything better, honestly. I mean, granted, we had some bumps along the way, but we'll continue to have that. That's business, right?
Yeah.
But as a small business, we couldn't have asked for a better reception and a better situation, to be honest, because we found our niche and we found our customer base and ran with it.
Again, I know you guys, so that's something that I can free say about you and your personality and the way you guys help other people. Just without even saying words, sometimes just inspiring. Just go on, keep going, or and the way, for example, that you used to do triathlons. You were like. You weren't a pro at the moment, or were you a pro at all, or?
No.
Okay, but you were like pro level, and I tell people, she can do it, you can do it. You probably won't be as fast, but you can do it. and it's one of those things that people take for granted. People say that, I don't think I can do that, but you guys know, you guys keep on going, and that's very. It's honorable to see that. And you're the new mom and pop bike shop.
That's right.
Because a lot of the big brands are taking over, and there's no more that feeling of mom and pop, where the owner is the one behind the register, or pumping a flat tire, or fixing or riding with the regular people.
Well,
Honest.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely fun. And it's definitely, the bike industry's changed a little bit after COVID. And like you said, some of the big bike brands have taken over some shops, and it's just a different feel in those stores. You know, working at a local bike shop that's locally owned, that, you know, you're actually talking to somebody that can make decisions, or somebody that cares about their place more than the average worker. It makes a difference. You know, it makes a difference in how people perceive it. You know, people still walk in here and think it's a small mom and pop bike shop, but we do so much more than mom and pop bike shops. I mean, we work on all the, you know, department store bikes, because that's primarily stuff, but now we have so many triathletes coming in, and high-end bike riders, and, you know.
But it's like you said, like everything changed. So back in the day, it was totally different. Any bike shop was totally different back in the day. Now it's a new era. It's because, like you said, you have high quality bicycles, and now you're actually going to sponsor a women's triathlon happening in December, which is something super innovative. I remember the first triathlon, the women's triathlon in 2016, I think it was. I was there setting up for the swim, and I can hear all the ladies, excuse me, I'm sorry, you know, like the first way or the second way, the beginner, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you. But then you see the competitive wave, like all women. So it's so good to see that, you know, and feel welcome. And I'm so happy you guys are being part of that, because it's a new era again, you know. So thank you for doing that.
You're
and
welcome.
Supporting. And that's what it is, like one community. I keep saying that from the longest time. I remember I was part of a team, and then I was cheering the other team, and then people were confused, like, why are you cheering them? Why? Yeah, and I said, because we're in this together.
That's right.
If it rains, we're all gonna get wet.
Yeah.
If it's sunny, we're all gonna get sweat. So why not, you know? And then I wish I could always have a flag with all the logos, all the teams, because, and if you know me, you know, I was there like cheering you on, and even if you were part of another team or whatever, and that's what I feel like you guys are doing. You're here, and then you're providing for everybody. It doesn't matter where they're coming from, it doesn't matter the skill level. And I like your slogan, one happy customer, one happy bicycle, something like that.
We love bikes.
We love bikes. Yeah, we love bikes. We love customers.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
We
it
love
doesn't
all of
matter.
it.
No.
Yeah, at all levels. And now you're starting with tri bikes, you know,
Yes.
felt.
Yeah, we're a felt dealer now. You know, it's being a small business, being a local. You have to take baby steps and things that you do, and you know, we're just trying to reach out to the triathlon community. So that's our next step here. Trying to get a broader footprint. You know, the women's race just seemed like a easy. You know, it's a single race. I think it's really good, because a lot of women get intimidated by racing, especially when they go out there and there's, you know, a bunch of guys out there, and, you know, they're not as confident maybe, you know, on maybe the bike or the run or even the swim. So to have their own race, and then obviously Katie's into it, she'll be out there, you know, helping, doing all the stuff to promote it. Just gives somebody a chance to go, whether it's their first one, second one, third one, to get going in it and have some confidence. And it's a good venue. Fort Soto's easy.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, we're trying to get paved. So
Yeah, that would be fabulous.
we collected I think 1,200 signatures, and you're supposed to get 1,000 signatures to have a response. So I'm supposed to have a meeting with the council, but it takes a lot more persistence, and I wish they can fix it. But there's no way they can fix it by December. But I wish.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It would be nice. Yeah. So yeah, and then I know you guys are advocating for that too, and because again, it helps us, all of us. It helped all of us. So, you know, if we have nice, safe roads, because they close the park, and it's nothing better than feeling safe. There's no cars around and things like that. And for the one community.
I think when you talk about women being intimidated in the sport of triathlon, I think also women are intimidated to walk into a bike shop. And we don't want that. You know, anybody can walk in our door. Anybody can ask us any question. There's no dumb question. The only dumb question is the question that's not asked. So for us, we want everybody, when they walk into this bike shop, to feel welcome It's just like when they go to a triathlon. You know, you have to feel comfortable. And the first step is to come in and walk through the door and say, I'm so sorry I have a flat tire and I don't know how to fix it. No problem. That's why we're here. You're not going to get attitude from us. You're not going to feel bad or dumb, you know, because we've all been there. I know as a woman myself, even today, I can walk into a bike shop and feel intimidated. They won't speak to you. They won't welcome you. And that's unacceptable in my opinion. So for us, getting into the women's triathlon was a huge thing. First of all, because I've done the race, I enjoy it immensely. There's something to be said. There's something to be said racing with men, only because sometimes it can be kind of exciting to have them pass you on the bike and then to pass them again on the run. But there's also something to be said when you have a community of just women out there doing everything. And it doesn't matter whether you're a 7-minute mile, 6-minute mile, 20-minute mile. You know, it's one foot in front of the other. And it's just as hard, probably harder for those people. And it's endearing. I mean, it's just like in the sport of Ironman. You know, when you go to that midnight finish line, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Those people are warriors, and they deserve just as much credit, maybe more, than the people that are finished in 9, 8, 10, 11 hours. So for a women's triathlon to excel in this area, I think is huge. I think it needs all the support, and everybody should be marketing it, all men, all women, because it's phenomenal. And women love to do the sport of triathlon. They embrace it. It's going to be great. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And then I helped choose the date because I feel like December was a good date.
Yeah, a great
because
time.
because it's not too hot, it's not cold yet.
Yep, hopefully.
And, hopefully. Yeah, well, usually January, February
Yes.
is like, ooh, but...
and hopefully
then,
dry.
Yeah, and then this year, August has been the hottest so far.
Oh my goodness.
Brutal.
It's crazy, but I'm super excited too about this race, and it's gonna be great, and it's gonna be a win-win regardless. And having the backing up of guys like you and other amazing companies that are sponsoring it's gonna be a great experience. And so talking about multisport and women being intimidating, and I know men are also intimidated because some men want to look tough or whatever, and then they don't know. And then it's kind of cool to come to a place where everybody's welcome, everybody's like receiving that attention, you know, that they can do something. It doesn't matter if they're gonna make fun. Because back in the day, it was very competitive,
Right.
everything. And if you, like you said, I didn't want to ask questions. I didn't want to
Right.
look dumb, and I was like quiet. They're like, maybe, hopefully somebody else was asking, or they will bring it up, and then nobody did. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, and it's just. But yeah, I'm so happy that it's happening the way it's happening. And like you said, one step at a time. There's no rush, and I know how methodic you guys are. Like, you know, you're not gonna rush into a decision until you know that it's the right decision. You know, so how is that new technology coming along? I know there's some changes that I don't know, but I heard like the shifting. And
Oh yeah, so you know, electronic stuff is well into the cycling community now. Disc brakes, all that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, now you have 12 speed. You've got Campy that has 13 speeds. I mean, it's got. I will say the hard part about the new group sets and things about bikes is that there's a lot less interchangeability. Like everything is very, very proprietary now. Like if you have Shimano groups, you know, and you have an issue, a SRAM cassette probably isn't going to work now. You know, when you start to get up into that higher level stuff. Back in the day when it was 10 speed, even early 11 speed, you can interchange some things and make a bike work. Now you can't. So it's a plus because on the other side of it, it's like you have all these new bikes, whether it's an aero bike or a tri-bike, that have all these kind of intricate, you know, proprietary cockpits, and the way that you would run cabling and stuff, it makes it very difficult. So having new wireless technology where you can just bolt on derailleurs, bolt on shifters, connect them Bluetooth, you don't have to run cables in the frame, makes things a lot easier. Servicing, building, you know, changing up, things like that. But there's there's a little bit more involved. Now, it's more involved for a shop mechanic because most people will just bring it in and ask questions like, it's doing this, what do I do? There's more things you can do at home too, but it requires you know, putting apps on your phones and hooking your bike up, and sometimes people are into that, sometimes people don't want to deal with it, you know. But it's definitely something that's not going away, and it's definitely, I would say, better, you know, as far as the workings of it, more consistent, but they still have their, you know, intricate fixes that you have to do occasionally.
So,
Yeah.
what's your approach to different people that come here? For example, like you said, there's people who are into it and they're very like picky and with the equipment and how is your approach? Because it's some cyclists are very like, if the socks are not matching, they're not happy. You know. So you have everything, and you ride with some of those guys.
Yeah,
He is one of those
He's
guys.
one of those guys.
it's all about looking good. Yeah, I mean, everybody, you know, when somebody walks into a store, and if you don't know them, you don't know their background or their history. So, you know, the good thing is you find out what they're looking for, and you got to talk to the people. You got to find out, you know, what they want, what they're looking for, you know, what their background is, if they did cycle or if they still do cycle, you know, and that's going back to your point earlier where it's the mom and pop bike shop. It's like, you know, I'll spend an hour talking to somebody about a bike and doing stuff, and, you know, maybe not sell anything, but it doesn't matter to us. It's like you're just trying to educate the people. During the pandemic stuff, you know, there were bikes that you just can't get, you know, things weren't available, so people had to, you know, if they wanted a bike, they had to travel to South Florida or North Florida or Georgia to get that bike because there was no getting it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you just, unfortunately, sometimes you talk to people for an hour and they had to buy a bike somewhere else because there's no way you can get it. But I think, to your point, feeling people out, you just have to talk to people. You just have to like get to know them in a short amount of time and kind of see what they're looking for.
And be welcoming, like Katie was saying.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
No, make them feel intimidated. Yeah.
Sorry.
We're close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think that it's very important that when they come in here, they can discuss any bike. I mean, we have all of the different bikes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we have from your cruiser all the way up, but it's not just, you know, road bikes or triathlon bikes, meaning the hardcore cyclists that have matching socks and matching helmets.
Oh my God! One morning I remember I went to ride with these guys, and then I couldn't find the socks, so I put one sock, one color.
Oh, Leo.
And they kept looking at me, and I said, "What's wrong?"
Yeah, you can't do that. I used to not wear socks.
Yeah.
I used to be, well, I was the typical triathlete, right?
Right.
But now I wear the long socks when I ride with the roadies.
Yeah,
But when I
yeah.
do triathlon, I don't wear socks on the bike usually. But, you know, Giant is and especially for this area, the price point for Giant, as you know,
Yeah.
you can't beat it
Oh,
anywhere
you can't,
with anything
can't,
else.
No. Is it still the largest bicycle factory in the world?
Oh, yeah.
And their price
Yeah.
point is still the
Yeah,
best.
I know. It's
I mean, you
crazy.
just, why would, you know, for somebody to, and of course prices have gone up, right? So
Yeah.
to tell your regular person, you know, they're gonna have to spend $700 on a bicycle, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Come down a little, they went up and then they came down just a little bit.
Yeah, they've discounted some stuff because, like all the manufacturers, you know, you had such a shortage, and then they went over the top with like having so many because they thought it was just going to stay, I guess. So now the manufacturers, they have inventory, they have surplus, so they're trying to get rid of it. So they've discounted some of their bikes for, you know, a few $100.
Well, if you get a hold of a TCR, I think I'm still at 56.
Do we have any?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
got
then
'em.
I'll go see Paul. I think 56 because I got shorter a little bit. My left leg
Oh,
is
I
shorter
bet.
now.
Probably
Yeah.
lost
Yeah, but
a little
they can,
length.
Paul can make up for that because depending on how much shorter it is, they
Yeah.
can put shims on your
Yeah.
cleats to lift it up, and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
He'll fix you right up.
When people ask about a bike, you explain to them like the difference between bicycles and what is the purpose of those bicycles. And for example, there's a lady that rides with us on Fridays, and she's using the like the
Step through?
yeah. I think she has the lip one, and I asked her, so hey, so I see because I was teaching her about cadence and don't stop pedaling. I always used to say, a pro told me this, because I don't want, it's better when it's coming from somebody else sometimes. And I say, a pro told me, hey, don't stop pedaling, and you become more efficient. And then I asked her, so is there a reason you using this bicycle with the thick tires? Oh, it's because I don't know. So I told her then she need to come here and talk to you guys. And I said, would you be willing to try something else with thinner tires and maybe gain more speed and be more efficient and get, be fitter? Because she said she's not. And I said, don't think that way. I'm trying to get those negative thoughts from people's heads.
Sure.
Lately. And so so I'm working on her. So hopefully she'll come and talk to you guys. But how can you explain to people who are listening who doesn't know about bicycles that like difference between bicycles and purpose?
So yes, when you go to a bike shop and you're looking at bikes, it's not just a bike. I mean, you have to be aware of where that person is going to ride, what they're trying to do with the bike, because there's everything from a standard hybrid to something that's a comfort hybrid, we call them, mountain bikes, touring bikes, and then you get into the road bikes. If that's something that somebody's looking for, then they have different styles of road bikes, and they have triathlon or time trial bikes. So again, it's engaging with the customer, finding out their history, finding out what they want to do, where they want to ride, things they want to do, because now you have gravel bikes, so you have a road bike that you can ride off-road and do other things with, so it's basically you have to have like an engaged conversation with somebody and understand what they're trying to get. Then if you narrow that down and you say, okay, well, you're going to do this, then you might show them 2 or 3 different bikes, because in the road genre of bikes you have different styles. You have endurance bikes, you have comfort, more something that's more endurance and comfortable. You have time trial, you have aero, you have an all-arounder, lighter weight bikes. Riding position changes on all those different styles because the frame geometries are different. And again, you try to gauge the person and feel them, because working in a bike shop, you can get very overcomplicated, and you talk to somebody and it's like,
right. Right.
So you have to kind of feel them out and try not to, you want to give them information, but maybe not too much information. It's, it's a balance of trying to find. And then obviously, test riding bikes, that's the biggest, I can tell you all day about a bike and how great it is. And then you ride it and you're like, it's not great,
Right.
You're going to be the one that ultimately decides what you like. So getting them on bikes, riding them around, we do a little parking lot ride, or you can take it off into the back streets of Oldsmar and ride it for a little longer period of time if you want. But that's ultimately what is going to decide what bike you're going to get. But yeah, it's not as cut and dry as somebody just walks in and says, hey, I'm here for a bike, and they walk out with a bike. It's a process.
Yeah.
You know.
And for those that, like, for example, are looking to a road bike and they want to probably start going in rides and like, again, we do the ride on Fridays, and somebody asks, hey, when are we gonna do the pacing line? I said, whoa, no, that's not just like that. That doesn't work like that. First, you need to know who you're riding with, because sometimes even with the people that you ride with all the time, accidents might happen, and it takes years, takes months. Like, I remember Billy Mantilla. I remember when, before he was who he is now, I used to be big in triathlons, and I used to ride together, and then he's like, man, one day I wish I could be like you. And he had his bicycle was like hybrid, kind of like I think it was a road bike with aero bars or something,
Yeah.
weird. And then we used to go riding, and now I remember the last time I rode with him before my accident. I told him, I want to be like you one day, because now he's
Billy's a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud, and that's it takes time. It took him ride after ride after ride after ride to learn the rules, the signals, calling out.
It's when you get to that level of riding, it's a whole different. There's so much more to riding than just riding the bike. When you get to that level, when you're riding at speeds, taking more chances, if you will, you have to trust everybody you're riding with, because one little overlap or one little hole that's not called out or something like that, and it causes not good things.
Yeah.
So
I remember when I used to do the TT Tuesday from Sankey down to there's that little pothole that everybody knows that rides there.
Lamppost.
Yeah, and then we don't call it anymore. You don't call it because everybody knows it's there. And then it's so awesome because I was on the bike one time. I was actually with Kevin Bob one time, and then we saw how like you going on, and then how everybody knew where the pothole was, and you keep on going. And actually, I went one time and I sprayed it with white paint, to make sure people knew. But
yeah,
it was good. It was so good to ride, like you said, with people that you know. And I remember going with Kevin, and when I saw him and he saw me, I was like, okay, good, because we worked together, because we were dropping, and because you guys were animals. and the whole idea was to draw people. That's what it's called, TT Tuesday.
Yeah, TT Tuesday was, you'd have a few people that was their time trial bike day, and they would come out and we'd go to the front and just drill it.
Yeah, oh, I know, I've seen it. I felt it. And to me, like, and this is for the people who are listening that or watching that, it's possible. It's possible. Like, I remember when I was able to hold it all the way, and it was such a thrill, such a rush. What a feeling, But I do remember the first time I led the group. I remember it was a Saturday when we used to go up to Landmark, the Panera ride, and then we were on Edgewater going into Dunedin, and finally I got to the front. I was so scared to be leading, but I was in good shape. I was super strong. I was one of the strongest at the moment, and I was like,
Excited,
right?
Yeah.
And then I went too fast, and then I don't remember who it was back then, and told me, no, don't change the speed.
Yeah.
Just keep the same speed unless we've all agreed that we're gonna go faster. So it's a good, again, it's a good learning experience. But I already knew the basics, and kind of like take care of people, signal like you said, and the guys. I mean, if you're willing to learn cycling, just start slow, be patient, and come and talk to Dave, talk to Katie, and then they will tell you.
One nice thing about being in a bike shop and having people that ride is if you're interested in doing that, come and talk to the people there.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us know all the rides in the area.
Right.
We may not do all the rides, we know all of them. There's a bunch of different groups, and they have different levels of rides. So you start at one, and then you work your way up until you get to,
We have a ride that goes out of our shop on Tuesday and Thursday nights.
Oh yeah, at what
Just-
time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock they
Okay.
start. Yep.
Oh, that's
and
good
they
to
just
know.
go over here in West Chase. They do a couple
Oh
loops.
yeah.
Yep, but it's
It's a nice ride, it's for all levels.
all levels.
Basically just come out, they warm up through Oldsmar, they go down Racetrack Road to the first light, Twin Branch Acres. It's a little neighborhood back there that has a closed loop that they do. And then they meet up there and ride back to the shop when they're done, so.
Excellent.
Just helmets and lights required.
Yeah, it is lights.
I noticed, and then and we're gonna go into some shorts in a second. And I noticed that you canceled a bike ride last week
Because of the heat.
because of the heat.
Yes.
And that's it's important. Like we cancel. I don't cancel the swims. I just recommend people. Hey, listen, if you're gonna go there, I'm not gonna stop you from swimming, but don't swim for more than half hour because. I always tell people, if you're on the bicycle, yes, you might. If you pass out, you're gonna crash, whatever. But then you're not gonna drown.
Right.
If you're running, you pass out, you're gonna hit the asphalt. Okay, but you can pass out swimming. If people
Yes.
don't understand that, if you pass out swimming, you're done. unless a dolphin comes and rescues you. But yeah, no, it's so important, and it's good to have people like you guys telling people, hey, listen, we're canceling because of this. None of us have superpowers.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very important that they know and they see it from the people who's leading that, oh man, they're stopping, okay, I should stop too. Yeah. Okay, take it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's we don't like to do that, but it's for the majority of the people that do that ride, it's kind of entry level, multiple levels. So it's just, we feel better to put it off than have people go out there and get themselves in trouble. So
Yes, absolutely. All right, well, so I guess this is a good, it's been great. Thank you so much for
Thank you, Leo.
taking the
Yeah,
time to
thank
talk
you.
to me and share your experience with all of us, and a little more note of admiration towards you from me, and thanks for what you do for
To you
the
also,
community.
Leo. Thank you
yeah,
for what
to
you do.
Yeah, thank you. You
Thank
do
you.
more
It's
than
nice to be
anybody.
sitting here with you. Yes, always. You're a huge blessing to this community.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
community's blessed to have you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.